David had recently lost the person he loved most in the world, his wife. Her passing came suddenly, and the silence she left behind filled every corner of his life. The house felt empty, meals felt pointless. Even the smallest memories, like hearing her favorite song, would hit him like a wave. So he did what many grieving people do. He visited her grave often, sometimes every day. But after a few visits, David started noticing something strange, something that made his stomach tighten with unease. And this is where things start to get mysterious. Every time David arrived at the cemetery, something felt different. Fresh flowers would appear beside the grave, flowers David himself hadn't brought. At first, he assumed maybe a distant friend had come to pay respects, but then he started seeing other signs, small folded notes, footprints in the dirt. Sometimes the soil looked recently disturbed, as if someone had been kneeling there for a long time. Guys, a lot of strange things are happening in this world, and David couldn't shake the feeling that someone was visiting his wife's grave in secret. So he made a decision that would finally reveal the truth. David bought a small camera, nothing fancy, just enough to record the area around the grave overnight. He carefully positioned it where it wouldn't be easily noticed. Then he waited. Night after night, he checked the recordings. At first, nothing. Empty cemetery paths, quiet wind moving through the trees, hours of silence. But then, one night, something finally appeared on the screen, and what David saw made his heart start pounding. The camera captured a figure slowly walking toward the grave. A man. He moved quietly, almost respectfully. He carried flowers in his hand. When he reached the grave, he knelt down. He placed the flowers carefully on the stone. Then he stayed there, completely silent for a long time, not talking, not moving much, just sitting with the grave. Watching the footage, David felt a mix of emotions: confusion, anger, curiosity. Who was this man? Why was he coming here so often? And why did he seem so emotionally connected? David needed answers, and what he decided to do next changed everything. One evening, David arrived at the cemetery earlier than usual. Instead of walking to the grave, he hid behind a row of tall trees nearby. He waited. Minutes passed, then almost an hour. Finally, footsteps echoed softly along the gravel path. The same man appeared. Just like before, he brought flowers. He knelt beside the grave in silence, but this time, David wasn't watching through a camera. He was watching in person, and when the visitor eventually stood up and walked away, David quietly followed him the walk through town. The man left the cemetery and walked through the quiet streets. Streetlights flickered above. Shadows stretched across the road. David kept his distance, careful not to be seen. Eventually, the man stopped in front of a small house, and when David saw the house, he froze because he recognized it immediately. It was the same house where David had once lived with his wife, and at that moment, David realized something was about to be revealed, something he wasn't prepared for. The confrontation. David stepped forward. "Hey," he called out. The man turned slowly. They stood there in silence for a moment. Then David asked the question that had been burning inside him. "Why were you visiting her grave?" The man didn't run. He didn't get defensive. Instead, he sighed and calmly told the truth, the confession. The man explained that years before David met his wife, she had been in a relationship with him. They had loved each other deeply, but life had taken them in different directions. Eventually, she met David and moved on. But the man admitted something surprising. He had never stopped loving her, even after she married someone else, even after years passed. He said he had never married anyone because no one ever replaced her in his heart. So when he learned she had passed away, he started visiting the grave, quietly, respectfully, just to feel close to her again. David's reaction. At first, David felt anger rising in his chest, jealousy too. Hearing another man talk about loving his wife like that wasn't easy. But as the conversation continued, something unexpected happened. David realized the man wasn't trying to disrespect her memory. He wasn't trying to replace anyone. He was simply grieving in his own way. And strangely enough, both men were mourning the same person, just from different chapters of her life. After hours of talking, the tension slowly faded. They didn't become friends, but they reached an understanding, a quiet respect. And when you think about it, This story raises a strange question about love. Guys, imagine loving someone so deeply that even after they're gone, you still can't let go. Is that kind of love something beautiful or something a little frightening? Comment below and tell me what you think, because honestly, I'm curious about your perspective. If you found this story fascinating, make sure you like the video and subscribe for more strange and thought-provoking stories. And trust me, the next story I'm preparing might be even more unbelievable. So, stay tuned, because sometimes the most mysterious stories aren't about ghosts or monsters. Sometimes they're about the strange and powerful things the human heart can do.